Alright, what's up, Pokemon fans? I have another battle here with Gandy237, and he's a cool guy, and a guy I battled not too long ago. So, yeah, looking at our teams, we're both bringing some heavily offensive teams, so it should be a pretty bam-bam match, in my opinion. It should be short and sweet, and I hope to come out on top. So, let's go ahead and get started, and, yeah, that's another, that white avatar again. Anyway, so in comes Kartana, and I'm going to go ahead and lead with Darmanitan, and I don't think he's going to switch. I don't think he's going to stay in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for the U-turn right off the bat, and he does go into Garchomp, so it's a good play for me. This is actually a choice-banded Darmanitan, which, incredibly powerful, with, just a lot of potential for, just destroying things. And as you can see, I do some nice damage to that Garchomp, which is typically pretty bulky, so pretty happy with that, and I'm just going to go into Bronzong. I don't think he can do much to me. I just want to set up Stealth Rocks. I was kind of expecting him to maybe do it too, but instead he's going to go into Incineroar, which is a good play. But getting the Stealth Rocks up is pretty good for me because he has a few Pokemon that are weak to it, so I wanted to set those up nice and early as I go into Mantine expecting a Flare Blitz or something. Instead he goes for a Darkest Lariat, and he ends up critting me, but it does a little more than I expected. I remember this thing being Assault Vested before, but looking at that damage, I'm wondering if he Choice Banded it instead. And yeah, he does go for another Darkest Lariat, and it is going to be able to take out my Mantine, so that's not so good. I was actually looking forward to trying this thing, but it's dead, so that sucks. Anyway, I'm going to go into my Zygarde now. This is actually a Dragon Dance set that I'm bringing, and yeah, just going to go ahead and go for a Dragon Dance. Pretty bulky, so I'm not really 100% sure how much he would be able to do. Instead, he just goes into Kartana, so I do end up getting the free dance here, which is nice. And I do carry Earthquake and Outrage. I'm also a Rester, and I have a Chesto Berry, so it's a kind of an interesting Dragon Dance set. Just gonna go for an Earthquake, though, against this Kartana. And, yeah, as you can see, I hit it down to red. Kartana is, unfortunately, pretty physically bulky, as well as, obviously, a monster attack stat. And, yeah, he's gonna be able to do all that damage to my Zygarde with a unboosted Leaf Blade, so that kind of hurts. But I'm able to get the 2-hit KO, though, on the Kartana, and that's pretty cool. And in comes Weavile. Now, I know he probably has Ice Shard, so I do have to switch out, and I'm going to go out into... And unfortunately, I don't pack Extreme Speed on this Zygarde, which is a new move that it got, which is pretty cool. But I'm going to go ahead and switch out. I go into Darmanitan, expecting the Ice Shard, and it doesn't really do much to me because it is an Ice Shard. And I don't see the Life Orb on this Weavile, which makes me kind of think that it is Choice Banded. I think he actually said earlier in the day, earlier in the stream, that he was he likes Choice Banded Weavile. So I'm like, maybe he actually brought a Choice Banded Weavile. Anyway, I'm just gonna go for a Superpower, expecting a switch, and he ends up going into Garchomp, which is good. And yeah, that's gonna be able to kill him. And it only cost me a little bit of HP due to the Rough Skin ability, and that is a load off my plate. So in comes Tapu Koko, and that does resist Superpower, so gonna have to go ahead and switch out. I'm hoping it goes for an electric move, because I'm gonna try to go into my Tapu Bulu here. Instead, he predicts that very well, and he goes for a Dazzling Gleam, and he ends up getting another crit on the switch, which really does hurt. I mean, I probably would have gotten 2-hit KO'd anyway by this Dazzling Gleam, as you're about to see in a second, but I would have been able to switch out and come back in easier, which is kind of important. I am going to go ahead and switch out anyway, because, Tapu Bulu can still kind of do things if I can get off a Choice Banded Hornleech. I am running a Choice Banded one. I have 2 Choice Bands in my team, and he might actually have 2 Choice Banders too. I'm not sure about the Incineroar, but I'm pretty sure that Weavile is Choice Banded. Anyway, so there's the Dazzling Gleam, and it's going to get resisted by Bronzong. And I'm actually going to hope that he goes into Weavile against me. That's what I'm really hoping, because I'm going to go ahead and set up a Trick Room. Instead, he goes into an Incineroar, which isn't great, because Incineroar is fast. I was actually hoping to make use of, the fact my team is kind of slow. But instead, he goes into Incineroar, which is also pretty slow, and I'm just going to go for the Explosion. He's not as slow as Bronzong, obviously, and I just want to get rid of this thing, because this thing can actually be a problem for me if, the Trick Room stays up, so I'm just going to Explode. I do have the Normal Gem, so it's going to be a pretty powerful Explosion, and it's going to be able to take out this Incineroar, so that's not too bad. And unfortunately, looking at the teams, he does actually have the slowest Pokemon left, which is his Golisopod. So, yeah, I'm just going to go into Zygarde, though, seeing what he's going to do. And he ends up going to Weavile, so he gets the better end of this double switch. Now, I am going to actually try to go for, I believe, an Outrage this turn. I was expecting him to maybe predict another switch into Darmanitan, and I would outspeed him because of the Trick Room if he does predict that. And no, he plays the safe play, goes for the Ice Shard. But like I said, I think he's kind of locked into it, so I'm going to go out into my Darmanitan again. And, yeah, I'm just going to actually, I believe I go for the Rock Slide in case he does go out into his Golisopod, although I think Flare Blitz would have actually been better against Golisopod. But at the very least, I don't take the recoil damage, so that's not too bad. So in comes Golisopod, and unfortunately this thing is going to be able to outspeed me. I'm afraid of a water move, and yeah, he's going to outspeed me obviously because the Trick Room is still up. I just go into Tapu Bulu, like I said, expecting a water move. Instead, he ends up going for the priority move, the first impression, so I don't know if he predicted Tapu Bulu or what, or maybe he just didn't realize that he would actually be faster because Trick Room was still up. I don't know, but Trick Room is going to go down, I believe, this turn, so now that that happens, this Golisopod is once again the slowest thing on the battlefield. So I can go into Greninja, and the only thing I even have to hit this thing neutrally is Dark Pulse, so I'm just going to go for it. I'm hoping to hit that it would be able to hit him at least down to half, so it force him to switch. Instead, he's going to go right into Tapu Koko, which is actually fine with me, because even though he does resist Dark Pulse, I'm still going to be doing enough damage because I'm Life Orb that I can actually, finish this thing off with Water Shurikens. And that's what I'm going to do, which is now a special move, and still not very strong until you Mega Evolve, or whatever you want to call it, into Ask Greninja. But speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And, yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point, because I believe his last Pokemon is just Golisopod. But then, I do have Ask Greninja, so there. And, yeah, he's going to lose some more HP, and in comes the Golisopod. Now, I'm expecting I just don't want to risk it. I'm actually expecting a first impression here, but I don't want to risk him predicting Darmanitan, because I know I can just finish this off with Darmanitan. As you can see, he didn't go for the first impression. He was predicting Darmanitan, so it's a good thing I stayed in, just played it safe. I knew that I had the game with Darmanitan, even if he did, kill my Greninja, and instead, he's just going to lose right there. So, good to play by me to just play it safe. Anyway, today's question of the day is... Last time I talked about, the last question of the day, I asked a very specific question about what Pokemon speed, isn't what it should be, in your opinion. I realized I could have probably asked a broader question, so we're going to do that today. Any stat of any Pokemon, what Pokemon stats, or base stats, don't make sense to you? As for me, I still can't wrap my head around why Greninja is a specially inclined... I mean, obviously it's mixed, but especially after Greninja now, it's almost more specially inclined as opposed to physical. But, it's a ninja, so I was always kind of thinking it should be physical, at least primarily. So, that's one Pokemon that I kind of confused about. Because, it's both a special attack stats, and I think its attack stat is a little off what it should be. But obviously it's fast, so that makes sense. Leave a comment about that, and see you guys again next time. Bye!